I'm John.
And I'm Ronnie. And we're back with another video.
Yes, we are.
Yes, we are. So thank you so much for watching. As usual, we would appreciate it if you would subscribe, like, and share. So what's today's video about, baby?
Today is about neighbors, specifically neighbors going wild.
Yes.
This may be the city of brotherly love.
And sisterly affection.
But sometimes it depends on who your neighbors are, how much love you're actually going to get.
Yeah, we got none from John's neighbor out in the Northeast. Nada. So, now you want to start it off.
That's true.
That is true. So you want to tell them how it was when you lived out there with your ex-wife?
Right. So my ex-wife, we lived there for, I would say, 20 years. The neighbors on the right side of us, I think they were there for 6. The neighbors on the left side of us, they were there for probably, I think it was 2. So the years where me and my ex-wife lived there, the 6 on the one side, the 2 were on the other, never had a problem with the neighbors. Didn't have no issues. We basically, came out, said hello, how you doing? Everything was good. That all changed when Ronnie came to the neighborhood.
So my first visit to John's house, I remember him giving me the address, and I put it in my GPS and I headed up there. And when I got on the street, I was looking for a parking space because I knew where, well, he gave me the address and I knew the car. I saw the car sitting in the driveway. So I pulled on the opposite side of the street. And when I did, one of his neighbors on the opposite side of the street came out and just was staring me up and down like I came into the wrong neighborhood or something. And I think it was a woman. She watched. Oh no,
it was a woman.
Yeah, because it was a guy that did the same thing. But I remember when I got out the car and she was looking at me so strangely, and I thought, I know this heifer is not eyeballing me up and down because she think I don't belong here. So I think I just kind of waved at her, how you doing? And then, I saw John standing in the door and I walked over and I remember saying to him, okay, what's up with your neighbors? I'm getting the stare down when I'm coming here, what's going on? It's just, that was the beginning, and I should have known then that it was only going to go downhill from there. But.
And that is true, because I remember for some reason I was looking out, we had a bow window in front of the house, and I was looking out the window and I seen Ronnie's car go by. And she parked up, remember, because you parked up the street.
I parked up the street, yeah.
And that lady,
parking.
If I remember right, I think she was watering her lawn. She turned around, Ronnie got out of the car. That woman had her eyes focused on Ronnie the whole time. All the way down to see what door she was going.
Yeah, it's okay, I'm in the neighborhood. I could have been there just maybe, someone that was coming to see him for some reason or whatever. But to be so blatantly open with it, and I'm thinking, what is your problem? See, my point is, it can't be that you don't know black people exist. And it really can't always be about we don't want black people in our neighborhood. But I mean, it's just, to me, that was just so outwardly and so ridiculous, that I had to laugh about when I went in. I'm like, okay, we're gonna have a problem with your neighbors. Yeah. And sure enough.
And I think too, it's what Ronnie had told me when me and her first met. There's a lot of people that are cool with a lot of different races and different nationalities and stuff when they go to work and they see them every day. But for some reason, when you have a next door neighbor who may not look like you, everything is off basically the table then.
I told him that. Yeah, I did tell him. I said, people, like he said, you work with people of different ethnicities and everything is fine. But the minute that person becomes your next door neighbor or your family member, is dating someone of a different ethnicity, all bets are off then. There's always a problem. And they'll say, well, no, I have black friends, or I have black I have black co-workers or whatever. It's different. You're not taking those people home with you every night. So it's a different situation when it's right in your face and then you don't know how to deal with it. And that became a situation with his neighbors. And boy, do we have some stories to tell about that.
And that was just the beginning, basically, with the neighbor up the street giving Ronnie, what do they call that, slippery eyeball?
Yeah, you got slippery eyeballs. So she wasn't slippery eyeing me. She was just staring at me, you know?
But
I thought, my God, do I need to turn around and get out of this neighborhood or something? I mean, I felt very uneasy about it, but me, I go anywhere I want to.
Right.
But she did make me feel very uneasy, like, oh, gosh, was she gonna come out here and start some nonsense or whatever? I mean, I was ready for it.
Yeah.
But
because you were dating a big burly guy who don't take no crap from no one.
get your neighbors straight.
Okay. So, moving on, they did, and like I said, a lot of people are going to say, listen to this video, they're going to be like, oh, well, you just got neighbors that don't like you. You could say that if we didn't already live there for 20 years, knowing the people 6 years on one side and 2 on the other. When my ex-wife was there, we had dogs, we shoveled snow, we cleaned our yard, cut everything, had everything groomed real nice. We never had a complaint. It never changed other than Ronnie was living there and my ex-wife wasn't living in there. Basically, you could tell when everything changed, and that was basically when Ronnie moved in. When she moved in, we started dating and we decided that we wanted to live together. She moved in, I think that year might have been was that in the spring or was that like in the fall? That was probably right in the fall.
It was in the winter.
Right.
Yeah.
When it started in the winter, then basically everything started then. We basically had an issue with one of the neighbors throwing snow in our driveway, literally digging a wall of snow out and throwing it in the driveway so I can pull in the driveway. Our driveways were in front of the house. He piled snow like at least 2 feet high up in front of my driveway so we couldn't pull in. We were actually at, I think, at the Walmart, because Ronnie likes the Walmart. Different story for a different day.
Everybody watch the video, they know how I feel about Walmart. I don't have to say anything.
We had problems with the neighbor. That same neighbor, we had problems with dog barking. Then he started complaining about the dogs barking. We had 2 golden retrievers when my ex-wife lived there. Those dogs were 12 and 14 years old. Never had no complaints. Golden retrievers bark. The dogs that we had when Ronnie was there, we would let them out 20 minutes. They'd be outside, go to the bathroom and come back in. We didn't leave them out in the yard all the time. The neighbor on the other side, he decided that he was going to cut down a tree. And then I wouldn't even known, but I was sitting in the basement. He threw it over the fence into the yard like it was his yard. We had problems basically with the debris coming into the yard. We had, what was some of the other stuff we had? I'm trying to think. That was... So
it was the barking. They called clip on us because they claimed that...
Oh, yeah, that's right.
The overgrown trees and things like that. They came. And at that point, we told the woman from Clip, we said, and if anybody knows that, basically what Clip is, if you don't keep your yard or like in front of your house or even in the back of your house, the grass is supposed to be at a certain level. If you don't do that, they'll call the city on you and you'll get a citation, or they'll come out and you'll get warnings, or you'll have to pay a fine if you don't keep your grass in order or your lawn in order. So this was in the back, so she couldn't have gotten back there, so it had to have been a neighbor that complained about it. And when they came, I think she went out there and she didn't really say too much about it. I mean, was Clip just that, or I thought it was also about the dogs, but either way,
we had an issue with the one of the neighbors. They reported that basically we had too much dog feces in the yard. So I'm down in my office, which my office was in the basement, and Sean was my son. He was only young. I guess he was maybe like 10 or 12. He says to me, he says, "Dad, somebody's knocking at the door and they got a gun." I'm like, "Grab a steak knife." We turn around, I go out there, and it's, I guess the, what do they call them, officers, I forget what they call them, animal control officers.
Oh, yeah.
He's out there, and he says, "Oh, we got a report that you have a lot of dog feces in your yard, and it's unhealthy for the dog." He says, "Can I come in?" I said, "Sure." Walked him downstairs, walked him to the yard. He says, "How many dogs you got?" I got 2. He says, "Okay." He says, he said to me, I said, "There's one load there and one load there," and that was from this morning.
1, 2, 2 poop.
He said 2 dogs, 2 poops, no problem. And I told him at the same time, I told him that we had dogs for 20 years. Again, this neighbor lived here for 6 years. This neighbor lived here for 2. It was never an issue. And I told him right at that time that basically these complaints were just a way that they were trying to intimidate us because they were racially motivated.
We definitely told them it was racially motivated. We told both of them, the clip and that animal control person, that it was basically racially motivated. And I said, if we get any more flack from this, I said, if you guys come out here and start hassling us like they're hassling, I'm going to the media. I'll tell people in a minute, you want something done, threaten to go to the media, because once you do that, they'll sit back and say that, it's problems, it's racially motivated. Okay, because they knew what was going on. If anybody know anything about the Northeast, they knew what was going on. So the minute we said racially motivated, then they were like, okay, you guys figure that out. We don't want to get in the middle of this. Because you're not going to start giving somebody a bunch of citations and fines for something that's not true when the neighbors don't like you because of the color of your skin. So we weren't having that. So at that point, the whole clip and calling animal control stopped. But then there was other things that they were doing. It's always like some little nuisances that they thought that they were going to run aside the neighborhood.
And you could even say up to now, coincidence. I was coming out the door one night because our trash collection was in the front of the house. I'm coming out the front of the door with a bag of trash, and the neighbors that day, where they were having a big party, I think it was like on a Saturday night, they were having it was a summer barbecue or something, but they were out there and they were all drinking and stuff in the backyard. Well, I had to go out the front to throw some trash by the curbside because our trash day was the next day. And the neighbor who we shared the driveway with, as I'm opening the door, I'm going out, I hear him say, yeah, he's married to some black girl over there.
That would be me.
You were the black, but he left out one very important thing. Hot black girl.
Oh, that's your opinion.
But again, we already knew that just kind of put the icing on a cake, I guess you would say. Mm-hmm. It was just, and we were just done. And I had told Ronnie, I said, I don't run from too many fights. But it was getting so stressful at the time that I just felt like it was going to go out of control sooner or later.
It was, because John was out there arguing with them a lot. And the neighbor that we shared the steps with, I mean, for all intents and purposes, he was a family guy. He had a wife. He had 2 or 3 kids. He was all tatted up. He basically looked like a skinhead, but I don't judge people by the way they look. But if someone were to look at him, they would probably say that's what he looked like. But I'm like, this is a family guy. He, any day, if I would think, oh, there's something wrong with him. But they were just starting stuff. Now his wife would speak. It wasn't like they would look at me and not say anything. His wife would speak. Even the other lady next door or whatever, she spoke a couple of times, but that, again, I call those pleasantries. It wasn't like they were trying to get to know me, and quite frankly, I didn't really care whether they wanted to get to know me or not. If you're nice to me, I'll be nice to you. But the arguments or just starting fights was ridiculous. I remember, I think it was the time he threw the bush or whatever, the tree in the yard or something, and he was up on his second floor screaming down at John in the backyard. And he said, I don't know, it was just stupid stuff. And then when John told him, because my husband has a temper, y'all.
Who? Irish guys have a temper?
You have a temper.
I guess you're going to tell me we drink now, too, huh?
Well, listen, I'm just saying, he has a very bad temper. And he was screaming and yelling up at this guy. And he kept saying, come on down, come down here, I'll kick your ass and all this kind of stuff. And the guy stands in his, and I mean, as far as I'm concerned, he just lost his man card with that. But he stands up there and does this like, nanny, nanny, boo, boo. And I remember looking at John and saying, did he just do something like this? Like when you told him to come down, he was like, no, I'm going to come down. And I thought, well, that's kind of weird and unusual. I'm like, yeah, you can kick his ass, because if that's what he's going to come back with. But my whole point is, don't say things and act like you're big and you're bad. You can do stuff if you can't back it up. Now, I'm quite sure John can back it up. What he was doing, I'm not so sure. I don't know where he thought he was going with that. But if I was him, I would have just closed the window and shut up. But some people just don't know. They just have to keep it going and going and going. And I think that's basically what it got to the point where I told John, it's really not worth it. getting into it with these people because somebody's going to get hurt. So, that's when we decided, I still have my house, and we decided we'll move back down here. And when we moved back down here, not one problem with the neighbors.
Yeah.
Now, my neighborhood opposed to John's neighborhood is very integrated.
Now, what are these sections? So I'm in Northeast Philadelphia,
and
you're in.
This is considered West Philadelphia.
Where did you grow up in, though?
I grew up in North Philly.
Right.
So this is West Philly. So again, if anybody knows, and I'm not sure about any other cities, but Philadelphia, as I mentioned, is very much a city of neighborhoods, and there's little pockets. So there are pockets. I'm not saying all of Northeast, but there are parts of it. So every neighborhood, whether it's the Northeast, West, North Philly, and you break it down, West Philly, and then there are little other pockets, Germantown, Olney, places like that. You have those individual neighborhoods, Nicetown, Tioga, whatever. So you have the neighborhoods broken down further, whereas some of them are very much integrated, and some of them, it really isn't. You just have, you have blacks, you have Latinos, you have Koreans, you have Asians, you have Indians, and they're very much in these sections. And then some sections you have that are just very integrated. It just so happens that the neighborhood where we live now is very integrated. So you have a little bit, it's a big melting pot. So John moving in, it was like, hey neighbor, it really wasn't a situation where they, I think that he never thought that he wasn't welcome in this neighborhood, whereas when I moved out there with him, I felt very unwelcome. So that's the difference. That's what we always say, this neighborhood versus that neighborhood. And that's basically just how Philly is. But there are neighborhoods that are very, racially divided.
So I guess the question is Philadelphia the city of brotherly love?
Oh, hell no.
It all depends whose brother is living next door.
Yeah, we it's a shame because it's such a good slogan. We always say brotherly love, sisterly affection. And I don't want to say, because, it's my city, born and raised, but it needs some help. And I just really think that people just need to come together and realize that, first and foremost, we're people. Everybody has the same struggles, same things going on. And, whether, I don't care what color your skin is, you still have struggles and things that you're dealing with. I think if everybody just looked at it from that point of view, everybody's the same, except it's just, a melanin issue or whatever, then, you can get past that. But some people just can't. And it's just, it just doesn't work, so.
I just would like to say, babe, I love your hair. You kind of look like Milli Vanilli. Very nice, babe.
Milli. What? I do like Milli Vanilli.
Yeah.
Girl, it's true.
There you go.
I love you.
I leave the singing up to her because I can't carry a tune. But I try.
Probably I'm going to get in trouble with singing that song. But that's what other song did they have? That's the only one.
No,
Girl, it's true.
Yeah.
Because that's the one that,
Is that the one they got in trouble for lip
That's the one that skipped on, and they skipped on a lot of them, but that's the one that skipped the one, and the guy went running off the stage or whatever. So.
Oh, is that where the record skipped?
That's when the record skipped, and he went off. So, once again, a little bit of trivia history.
Going off the track.
I do kind of look like a little bit.
Yeah.
But anyway. So.
You got a deep down rooted Milli Vanilli thing, huh?
I don't know. I mean, it's my hair. What are you gonna do?
Yeah. Kind of cool.
Kind of.
I liked it.
Well, yeah, that definitely went off subject, but
that's going back to the hair video.
Going back to the hair video, yeah. So, I mean, that just gives you, just to sum it up, a little bit of background on Philadelphia. Like I said, we got a long way to go, but not to discredit the city. Please come visit. Yeah. But
I don't think it's all parts of the city, because like I said. When I moved down here, we had no problems. If we had a problem, it's your normal neighbor, the neighbor thing. It's somebody living next door. They put their trash can over on your side. Mm-hmm. Something crazy stuff like that. But it's not the way that it was actually put to us out there was totally different. And it wasn't every neighbor, but when neighbors on both sides, you just start doing crazy stuff. And like I said, I didn't even need to walk out that night and hear that guy say that, but it just backed up everything I thought from the beginning.
Yeah.
So like I said, I would say, being here all my life, Philadelphia isn't the most racist city. I'm sure there's other places that are worse, but certain sections of it, you could make probably a good fight that it is.
Yeah.
You know?
Pretty much. So that's kind of our city, and we'll wrap it up in a nice little bow or whatever. But we just thought we'd share that because we, as we're driving around, we do like videos where we vlog our daily travels and things, and John goes to a lot of different neighborhoods in the city, and we're always talking about this neighborhood's this neighborhood's that. So we just thought we'd sit down and kind of break it down from our perspective, what we encountered. And being Philadelphians, you know, born and raised and lived here all our lives, me in one section, him in another section, we see things totally different. Like, he didn't realize the difference that was going on in his neighborhood. It took someone from the outside coming in to let him know really what type of neighborhood he was living in, you know. And yeah, so that's pretty much it.
You said that beautifully, babe.
Well, thank you very much.
And you didn't even have a script.
Anyway, so what I did want to mention was we had a couple of weeks ago, I think we made a quick video short about we wanted to have a contest. And we do have a winner for the contest. It was to come up with a subject that we could discuss. So I'm going to mention that person, I think, in the next video, because we're going to be giving that giveaway soon. So thank you so much for everybody giving us ideas about discussions and things along that line, because we really appreciate it. And we still appreciate you watching and commenting. Again, keep commenting. I love the comments. You guys are wonderful. So we do appreciate you supporting us and, you know, watching, and subscribe, like, and sharing. So
And remember, It doesn't cost a cent to subscribe, but it really does help the channel.
Okay, then. All right, so with that, I think we're going to wrap it up. Thank you again for watching. We really appreciate it. And as always, peace and love.
God bless you all.
Have a good night, everybody. Bye.
I'm John.
And I'm Ronnie.
So today what we're doing is we're getting a little bit of footage for a discussion that we want to have. We want to do a video on probably one of the, what may or may not be, depending on the way you look at it, but in our view, this is probably one of the most racist sections of the city of Philadelphia. So like I said, stay tuned and you be the judge.
I say it is because I lived it, but you know, that's just my opinion. It's a nice creek.
You know where my dad's house is. You don't know where it is from here, right?
Right over there. See, he doesn't think I remember where the house
it's the
is.
one with the white mailbox.
Yes, the one here right on the corner. Did they have a deck? Do you have a deck when you were living here?
No, he didn't have a deck.
So that's it. 30.
No. 3633.
Oh, 3633.
That's
Right
it,
there.
right? Yeah.
That's the house he grew up in. I thought it was on the corner. Maybe I don't know where it's at.
How about that?
How about that?
This is basically the neighborhood where I grew up. My one aunt lived there.
Which one?
With the Puerto Rican and Irish flag that's on the lawn.
Okay, I didn't see that.
There is. It was right on the lawn, man.
Yeah, well, maybe the camera caught it.
And
Because
then
I didn't.
my aunt, she lived over this way.
So it's basically just all in the family.
Yeah, she lives over this way.
I almost called a plane landing over there at Northeast Airport. Don't be filming me.
Yeah, she lived there 36, what is that, 18?
Oh, 36.
Yeah, she
There
lived
you
right
go.
there.
Oh, interesting.
But this gives you a brief outlook of like the neighborhood.
These are some cute little houses, but they seem small. Are they small?
Not really. These houses are all 20 foot inside. They're the same size as my dad's house.
They're kind of cute. Was that a park over there? Did you go to that park?
Yeah, it's a playground.
Playground.
Right
Did you go there? Did you
yeah,
play
we
there?
used to go there sometimes. They named it Mitchell Playground because the kid was coming down here on a bicycle, and he actually got run over and killed.
Oh no.
So they named it after him.
Okay, we're coming up on where John used to live. This is the Wawa he lived at. Little shopping center. Pretty convenient right around the corner.
That looks like your own car.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. 12411. Oh, it looks like somebody did something to that house that was on the corner. Okay, that's just way too much. Look at that.
Like the Easter bunnies in there.
Couple of the sale signs still there. That's the park where we used to walk the dogs.